Good evening and welcome to another Fortean Words. Yes, we are live now, Hobbit.
So, I want to start the episode with, well, originally it's going to be about colours and aren't they drab? And continuing on from, because I went on Stephen J. James's show talking about that. But first I want to pay F to pay respects to Alex Jones's bank account, as he has filed for bankruptcy now. And I feel it's the end of an era.
Is it him personally, or is it InfoWars LLC? That would make a big difference, wouldn't it?
I don't know. I assume they'll go after his company and then they'll go after him.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to do what they did to Tesla, aren't they? Death by 1,000 cuts, because that's what Edison and J.P. Morgan did to Tesla, didn't they?
Well, yeah,
they just threw a load of frivolous lawsuits at him, so he couldn't afford to defend them.
Yeah, and it's a demoralisation thing. So I just briefly wanted to do that, and then I wanted to go on to this thing. I've got this graph.
Just remember, the Americans have free speech.
Yes, until you say something that the no, they don't.
As Ice-T once said, freedom of speech, yeah, just watch what you say.
That's it.
Many a wise word comes from Ice-T's mouth.
Oh, you know what? I just realised I can do this. Like, what I'll do is I'll copy and paste these images into the Discordogram.
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to see them, and then you'll be able to put them up on the screen. You might even do, say, for example, like an image slideshow when I'm done loading all the images. Because what this is, right, is two things. One, you can say, because first of all, it's going to be a case of, well, if you're talking about colours of cars and architecture, well, that's a top-down thing. And I thought to myself, yeah, that's all well and good. Why do modern cars all look shit? And why are they all just like various shades of grey? But then it turns out, no, actually, people are actively choosing these drab colours. Because I suppose if you went to a car dealership and you're buying a new car and be like, yeah, I don't want it in grey. I want it in bright yellow or something.
Well, do you remember that? Do you remember that insurance thing where they said that red cars get hit more often? People can't see red cars. You remember that one?
Really?
Yeah, it's an actual thing. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna start putting. I'll put the first image up anyway. Image. Browse.
An image late. That's what happens under socialism.
What's that? That one. Unknown image 5 must be that one. How the world has become less colourful. Right, there we go.
Yes. And look at this graph. Look at this graph. So this, right, is photographs from the year, what is that, 1820? Well, you didn't have colours and colour photography back then. Yeah.
I don't think it's photography. No, it says the colour of objects over time.
Oh, I thought this. So right, okay. So objects.
Did you really think? Would if I asked you and you hadn't seen this, would you say what's more colourful, 1820 or 1960? What would you have said before you'd seen looked at this graph?
I would have said 1960 because that's when you've got the advent of acrylic paints.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, it's like it's not really more. No, it's less colourful. That's when we have more grey and stuff. Because you see, there's that insidious amount of greys and black and whites and.
Oh, I found one from Citywide Law Group. A car colour and crash risk. Do you want to do this one?
Yeah, go on.
Oh, okay then. So, which cars? Okay, right then. So, what's the most dangerous car colour, Hobbit? Have a guess.
Yellow.
It's not red, but I was wrong. What's the most dangerous car colour? Is a grey silver. Sorry, black is the most dangerous, with grey silver a close second.
And yet, but grey silver is the most popular car colour now.
Yeah. What's the safest car colour?
High vis yellow.
Yep, yellow. Yellow's the safest car colour, with white coming in a close second. So some researchers revealed that black vehicles are the most dangerous on the road. At least one study found that you're 47% more likely to be in a crash if you drive a black vehicle. Other studies find
that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Other studies find that black is the most dangerous colour, but offer more reserved protection. Those studies find that driving a black car increases the risk of a crash by anywhere between 10 and 20%. So somewhere between 10 and 47%, depending on which study you listen to. So why are they visibility? Grey and silver cars are also correlated with an increased likelihood of being involved in an accident. Grey cars are associated with 11% higher than the risk than the safest car. Silver cars are associated with 10% higher risk than the safest car. Again, the reason for the correlation between colour and crash risk visibility, probably.
I suppose that's why these days they have these modern LED strips on them, which I find them quite... Because I was thinking to myself, would my car look better with LED running strips? And I thought to myself, no, it wouldn't. The only reason they have them is because it's visibility. And I was like, well, why don't you have retro-reflective strips on your vehicles then, like lorries do? My grandmother hits me every time she sees a yellow car whilst I am driving. How can that be safe? Is your grandmother just like a typical woman and thinks it's okay to be, like violent? That's a shit test, isn't it? I heard, like, if women hit you, what they're saying is, I want you to hit me back.
Blue cars, Hobbit. Blue is one of the two most popular colour choices for cars in America. While blue cars tend to be involved in accidents less than black cars, there is still an increased risk. When compared to the safest car colour on the road, blue cars have a 7% higher risk of being involved in an accident. Vehicles painted in darker shades of blue tend to be involved in more crashes than those in lighter shades. Why are blue vehicles likely to be involved in an accident? A lot of our surroundings, including the daytime sky, are blue. As a result, blue cars can be hard to distinguish. Is that the biggest load of, like, I'm just going to make some shit up you've ever heard?
It's grasping at straws, because you've got to do something to explain why it happens.
Yeah. Right, so red cars. Since visibility seems to be the driving factor when discussing car colour and accident risk, you may think that red is a safe choice. While red does tend to be associated with less of a risk of accidents than black, grey and silver cars, red cars have more accidents than any other colour. When compared with the safest colour on the road, red cars have a 7% higher risk of accident.
Yeah, because red makes it go faster.
Yeah. Red is such a bold, vibrant colour. How can these cars be correlated with an increased risk of accidents? While red is bright, the colour is also everywhere on our roads. Traffic lights, brake lights. This is... So you don't notice red lights, Hobbit? Brake lights or sirens? This is my God. The wrap-up section is piss poor on this, isn't it?
I seem to have noticed cyclists and BMW drivers struggle with red lights.
I thought they struggled with amber lights, indicators.
But the cyclists are... I mean, the red lights might as well be invisible to them.
Well, me and the missus, I know you're not going to believe this, Hobbit. I mean, this really is spooky, but I actually saw a BMW driver use his indicator the other day.
Yeah, that's why it's the sign of the end times. And that's something I wanted to say as well. Like, 2012, I think you and I both agreed, because we did talk this morning.
Oh, green cars. You want to talk about green cars? Because didn't people used to think racing green cars were cursed?
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that people used to think racing green was a cursed colour. So green cars are perhaps the safest of the most dangerous colours on the road. There's not a significant increase in the risk of an accident when you drive a green car. However, more green cars tend to be involved in accidents than the safest colour on the road. Again, when it comes down to visibility, green is a prevalent colour in our... I think they're reaching a lot with these things. I'm not... car colours to avoid for safety reasons, Hobbit.
Did women write this article?
Probably. The wrap-ups... are terrible.
What am I reading?
It's so, we're talking about car colours. This is from the Citywide Law Group in America.
What about polka dots? Isn't that more likely to cause accidents? Like fucking hypnotising you? Like I don't know, fucking.
Like, so
What
car
about the
colours
Rorschach test on a car? Would that like confuse people?
Would they see a car or something else? Car colours to avoid for safety reasons. So that's black, grey, blue, red, and green. Isn't that every colour on the road? Hobbit.
In other words, you should drive hot colours.
Yeah.
Reds, yellows, and oranges.
Yeah. So studies have revealed that the following color vehicles are associated with the lowest risk of accident. White is the safest car on the road. No, we've referenced the safest car on the road. That colour is white. White cars are 12% less likely to be involved in an accident than black cars at any time of the day under any conditions. This is because there's often a lot of contrast between white cars and its surrounding. As a result, white cars are easy to see. Couldn't that be, though, that they're the same colour as emergency vehicles?
Well, I was going to say, surely the safest colour to have your car in is high-vis yellow and blue reflective stripes in a checkerboard pattern.
Right. So at least one study found that yellow and not white cars are the safest on the road. Why? Yellow is the brightest colour and stands out in any conditions. There's a reason that most cabs are painted yellow or another vibrant colour. Because it's vibrant and diverse, that's why. It makes those vehicles incredibly easy to spot on a busy road. So orange, like you said, like the warmer colours now, orange, gold, and then they just go into like these are the other reasons you can do it. But I once heard that it was red. I don't know whether that's like a British thing.
Well, the thing with red cars is it's called policeman snooker, where you'd pull over a red, then a colour, then a red, then the colour. So by that logic, you don't want a black car because they'll get pulled over because black's worth a lot of points. You want a white car because that's the cue ball. But this wasn't like just a thing to be talking about cars and accidents. I mean, this graph is not about cars. This graph here is about colours of objects. Objects include cars, but there are other things as well. I mean, the next image I've shown is car colours by year. So if you want to put that up on the screen...
Oh, here's another thing, Hobbit. That there were less people around then, so therefore there were less objects, would there have been? But there were more colours. That's the other thing we need to add into this. So what do you want the next photo, do you?
Well, actually, could you put the next two side by side? Like, it's a photograph of a car park from the 80s to now.
I don't know. You're asking a lot, Hobbit.
Add image 2.
It's all right. I've got to pick the right image first.
I'm a better OBS slave than you are.
Yeah, but you're not a Golden Gun Award winner like me.
No, that's true.
Yeah, I'm accredited. I'm an accredited OBS slave. Right.
So there you go. I mean, I noticed like quite a lot. You know, yellows and oranges. No, not neutral colours. Do you see like above or before that? There's a picture there of the car colours by year. But this clothing one is good too, because I don't know when the last time you went clothes shopping was, but the last time I had a serious go at clothes shopping was in 2015, and it was winter, and I wanted a winter coat, and I wanted something which wasn't black, because if you look at this like choice in clothes, your choices are black or grey or white, and there's very little coloured. So I eventually managed to find a red coat, and I like my red coat. I think it looks quite snazzy. And if you look at this car park of the 1980s compared to today, I mean, in the 1980s there was a nice collection of colours. I've seen a maroon one there, a lot of whites.
Oh, it used to have some horrible colours though. There was that like dog shit brown colour,
Green, yeah,
and that horrible blue.
Brown, yeah.
Do you remember that horrible Do you remember that horrible kind of halfway between navy and light blue colour that Ford used to do?
And that
Yeah,
lime green
and
as well.
oh yeah, the awful coloured green, the sort of like snot green.
Yeah. And what about that horrible like yellowy brown colour that Vauxhall used to do?
Well, yeah.
It was like yellowy brown, not quite orange. It was just like it looked like puke.
Baby mess brown.
Yeah.
But if you look at all this stuff, right, and then look at the modern ones, it's just like grey, white, black, blue.
Like, you can literally count them. What is there? Two reds, two blues. Everything else is silver or grey.
That's it.
Oh, there's a
And
couple
the
of
two
whites
blues,
a couple of whites in there as well.
The two blues, I mean, one of them is sort of silvery blue. So
Yeah.
even then, it's like there's another graph here, which what I'm going to do is I'm going to
Yeah, mustard maxi. That's the colour I'm talking about. That. Oh.
But you see, you've got the picture of the car park, and you've got the other one, like, you know, colours of objects through the years. In between those two, there's one which shows a graph of car colours by year. And not getting too like obsessed with cars, even though I do drive a Jag. I want to say, the fact is, you could. The point I was doing this, and apparently there's a chap called Academic Agent, and he's done a video about modern architecture is shit, including modern cars. You could well say, this is a corporate decision. The reason architecture and cars look shit is because of corporate decisions and health and safety and bullshit like that. The reason we can't have beautiful things is because there's laws prohibiting beautiful things. But then there's a later graph after the car park one. The changes happened to interior design. These were the most popular colours of paint brand Dulux in 2020. So you've got one shade which is beige, another one which is sort of like anemic brown, green, black, and then various shades of grey. Oh, and then you got one other brown as well. So
well, even exteriors, you get that horrible fucking grey. That horrible grey. I really don't like that.
People take the effort to paint bricks and sidings, and they just make it. It's like you've got the light grey of aluminium, but you've painted it a darker shade of grey.
Yeah.
I mean, one for example, there's a picture here which is after like the Dulux colours, is an interior shot showing like what some people would call garish. In 1970s.
Well, as OG Snake Eyes says, most big companies that have work trucks choose one colour, usually white, for their work trucks. And even now, I think they buy the white work trucks, and a lot of them, if they are going to go for a colour, they go for a wrap now, don't they, rather than actually having it sprayed or anything.
Because, well, the reason you do that is two reasons. One, you don't have to declare to your insurance that you've changed colour, nor do you have to inform the DVLA. And the other thing is, when you go to take the vehicle out for the fleet and sell it on, rather than somebody having to spend money painting over your paint, it's a base white coat, and they put their own vinyl wrap on it. So, like, what I'm looking at here now is a photograph showing a 1970s, a typical 1970s home. So you've got wallpaper.
Have you got that photo?
Yeah, if you look in general.
Did I miss? What have I missed out then? I'm only. All I've put is clothing. I haven't put the Dulux one up.
Yeah, so
I shan't bother with the Dulux one, but I'll put the.
I put up the Dulux one, and then I put up the one just underneath it about the interior design. I mean, the interior design there.
Interior design is up.
Is you've got horrible grey and black on one side. I mean, I noticed there's a plant pot there, and it's green, but because of everything else in the room, I can't really see it. Kind of washes the colours out. Whereas the other one on the other side, I mean, all I will say is, the carpets are dated, and the wallpaper's probably browner than what it needs to be because of tobacco and tar.
I believe a friend of my missus calls it Fagnolia.
Magnolia, yes.
Which I think is quite funny.
Fagnolia brown.
I think that was fucking mint. That was when I first heard that. I thought I'm having that one.
But you got curtains and you got lace, and it's a bit busy. But the other one is just so sterile. It's like it's an operating theatre. It's just
Yeah, it's like you don't like. Which one would you rather be in if you can't afford heating?
well, at least the one on the left looks warm.
That was the point I was making.
Whereas the other one, I mean, even if it was like a 36-degree day, it's still like sterile.
You feel a bit nippy in there, aren't you?
And you might say, well, that's a professional interior decorator. Yes, but somebody is paying the money for the decorators, and they're saying, like, oh, what colour should I have it? It's like, well, you could have it as this, you could have it as that. Oh, I really like that shade of grey. Oh, actually, let me have a look at the Dulux chart. Can I have it in this slightly darker shade of grey? Yes, I like that dark shade of grey. I'll have it as that. What's that called? White mist? No, I'm going to go for goose down. Yes, I like goose down. It's a soft grey.
I'll tell you what's always confused me. Corn silk. Because it's a blue, isn't it?
Is that because cornflowers are blue?
Sorry, cornflower. Is it cornflower or corn silk? I think it's cornflower, isn't it? Because I just always assumed that cornflower would be like orange or something, or yellow or something.
Oh, so the dark shade of grey, which is the second from the top, is called chick shadow.
Yeah.
I can't see that so well on your side, but that's because your YouTube compression algorithm. Oh, and also because it's in 360p. Yes, because YouTube's rationing my resolution. It's like, oh, you've had a bit too much. You've had a bit too much YouTube. Well, I'm just going to ration your res.
You've had a bit too much to YouTube there.
Yeah. And it's just, this is the thing. It's all well and good saying, like, top down, but people, I say people, women, because it is women.
The thing is, it is top down because you are, if all you can pick is grey, then you can't, I mean, a lot of people. There's this whole myth that nobody's got any time anymore. You're surrounded by labour-saving devices and everything, but everyone's got this myth that they haven't got any time anymore. So they all think that they don't have time to go and choose the interior they want, rather than just having what's shovelled out to them.
I mean, I don't know about that, because I'm thinking somebody had to make a conscious choice to decorate this. I mean, there's nothing accidental or haphazard in the interiors of the picture on the right. Whereas on the picture on the left, you might say, oh, well, that's more accidental, just going like, oh, that lace will look good on the table. Yeah, the table is a bit too brown in comparison to everything else, so we'll put some lace on it. But everything there...
Nice, did you notice the ceiling hobbit in the left-hand one?
Yes.
The nice house fire.
But you got choices. Like you can go to Dukes, you can have any colour in the shade of the rainbow. You can literally just say, look, I need the Nation of Gay painted on my room. Do you have like faggot rainbow paint? And it was like, well, we'll sell you the 6 different colours, and then you can use rollers and paint it yourself. I mean, I did some painting last year, and I did choose eggshell white. But the reason being is because the wall was already eggshell white.
As OG says, everyone in the future is going to rent everything and they will enjoy it.
Well, I suppose that's why it's done, isn't it? Because, I mean, these look like the modern Burger Kings and such. And so you're asking, well, what's doom and gloom about this? Well, for a start, look how drab everything's getting, especially car colours by year. What a pile of fucking wank that is, those car colours. I hate it. But... a lot of people, I imagine the guy from the Skeptoid magazine, who, by the way, has never come back to me on my questions about why were cities regraded in the 1850s. Never came back on that.
Never came back.
But those are the sort of people that champing at the bit when it was December the 22nd, 2012, going, see, the sky hasn't fallen. Joke's on you. It's like, yeah, but last year Jimmy Savile died, and then all these revelations came out about him being a nonce.
Well, what about What about Maxwell's daughter, Ghislaine Maxwell? She's been convicted of trafficking nobody to nobody.
Yeah, that's right. You know, in the first case, like convicted of trafficking and having no customers because, yeah. But that's the thing, like, you know, Jimmy Savile, that was in 2011, and the world since then, I think they've pulled away the curtains. It's almost a case of like, right, show's over, now we're in the credits. And this is where we're getting to the doom and gloom, because even Gaddafi, he was doing like a UN thing saying, I've got to find that quote, because I'm sure Snopes will say, actually, he never said that, because Gaddafi doesn't speak English anyway. Colonel Gaddafi,
GH
UN
Gaddafi.
speech, disease. Let's see if I can find it, because this is one of the things, right? Surely there's got to be like some sort of image there, and well, I've got plenty of images of Gaddafi, but not the speech. Gaddafi's speech. I'll post this in. This is from africanews.com. Name African Union like to greet members of General Assembly, blah blah blah. Yeah, but what's the bit about like saying, look, in the future they're going to release a disease and they're going to get you lined up for a vaccination. Don't take either of them. And then like he did a bunch of other things, like he was going to have a gold-backed dinar, and he was going to have this underground canal system. And, you know, he's basically like the most competent leader in Africa. And he was doing a bunch of things which was going to improve the lot of life for Africans.
Well, you know, typical. They could have had Wakanda.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is as well is when Gaddafi was alive, he stopped all the immigrants coming over. And then he died, and, well, and the rest is history. So now... and now we're in the stage now where people are just openly admitting, like, well, maybe we should kill 4 billion of the population, or maybe we should keep a population in perpetually 500 million. Maybe we should live in the Line City where you'll walk from one place to another and it's going to be trains. I'm not sure if you saw Stephen J. James's stream about that, but him and I had a good old laugh at what we call the bird graveyard, because all the seagulls are going to crash into it. You've seen this Line City idea that the Arab sheikhs have come up with?
No, what's that?
So imagine a city which is like 20 meters wide and 120 kilometers long. So it's just a skyscraper that goes from one end of the Arabian Peninsula to the other. And it's going to be great because it's going to be the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, and there's going to be a train which is going to get from one end of the city to the other in 20 minutes. There's not going to be any stops. It's just you can be on the west end or the east end, and
Nice.
it'll take 20 minutes.
I guess the plebs live in the middle then, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
well, not that you need to travel anyway, because everything you'll need will be within a 5-minute walk of where you live. But there's no talking about like logistics, where you're going to put the industrial estates. What happens if, like, oh, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Abdul Jahamalam, you've got your 6th son, now you have to leave, or you have to have an abortion because your apartment can only hold 7 people. Yeah. Doom and gloom, population controls. Oh yeah, that's it. And now we're in 2022, and it seems all of the Western leaders are like, yeah, let's shut down the power, let's burn down the food processing facilities, and then the few people who actually could like survive a
farming, Hobbit. You're forgetting farming.
Yeah, who could survive this and actually do like farming, like the Amish. Let's come down.
No, I
on
mean
them.
you're forgetting that they're actually buying. What was it? Was it the Dutch found out that thing where they're talking about buying farms? I think it's over here when people retire, they're buying up farms.
Well, with the Dutch, they're not doing it like that. They're basically making a lottery scheme. So they're saying that they want to reduce the nitrogen emissions of the Netherlands by 30%. So
Wait, whoa! Hold on. Nitrogen emissions. You mean nitrogen that makes up 70% of the Earth's atmosphere?
yeah, which is not greenhouse
Okay.
gas, but like because they're saying, well, we are the Dutch, and our 2030 commitment is this is how Dutch speak, by the way, is our 2030 commitment is to have pedophilia in every school and a reduction of 30% nitrogen and 50% carbon dioxide. So the way they'll do that is basically the farmers will have a lottery. You'll get a letter through, and it's like, congratulations, you get to retire, and we're seizing your land and not giving you any recompense. And this is the idea behind this, by the way, is well, we're going to have this massive conurbation which goes between Belgium and the Netherlands and Germany, and it's going to house 115 million people. Except the thing is, this area they're talking about already houses 115 million people, but the idea is you're going to cram them all into a tiny city, and then I suppose the elites, what have you, will just have their own private playground. Not that you'll be able to get into it because you won't have a car, because all cars, they're going to ban them by 2035. So I'm going to be enjoying...
What, in this area, we're going to ban cars?
Well, it's funny.
Or everywhere?
In the UK...
Well, they're going to start off small, aren't they? It's going to be the creep, isn't it? Because I assume that's what they're going to end up in London. They'll probably be banning car ownership, won't they, in the end? And then you'll have to. Because what will happen?
First, won't they? They'll do the India thing where you have to you get a registration and you go on an odd day or an even day, and then Sunday no one gets to drive or something.
Yeah, it'll be death. It'll be death by 1,000 cuts. They want people to just go, fuck this. I can't be bothered to drive in London. And then the ring will just creep out. But what I think what will end up happening is there'll be like half a dozen, like you'll have your block, your block as in your local area, and I think you'll probably have like 10-20 cars that will service that, and you'll be borrowing that car. Because I saw it a while ago on the BBC where there's this thing where you can rent cars. You can rent cars.
Yeah.
Right,
I've
so
heard about this.
Interdimensional Lizard point out no new petrol or diesel cars by 2030.
I mean,
the exception being hybrids, which will be 2035, and then after that, it's called the Ferrari exemption. If you're manufacturing less than 1,000 of a model in a year, then you're exempted. You can still have an internal combustion engine.
Yeah, which the plebs can't buy. It's got to be the plebs can't buy it, hasn't it?
Well, you will be able to buy it, but it's going to be like a Bugatti Chiron or a Koenigsegg.
That's what I mean. Like, you're not going to be able to buy it, are you?
Well, if you've got €2 million, you'll be able to buy it.
Yeah.
And Punk Bastardo, this thing with the electric cars, they're a meme because people have proven it's a meme. You're waiting ages to charge. You're not going to have much range, and of course, you go to a charging station, you have to connect to your phone.
Charging your electric car is going to cost more than fucking filling up a tank of diesel. The way electricity. So you're not going to be able to buy a diesel vehicle or petrol vehicle. You're also not going to be able to buy diesel. But on the other hand, you're not going to be able to own your own electric car and afford to run it either.
No, and with the electric cars, it's like, well, sorry, your social credit is too low to recharge here.
Well, have you heard this other thing about carbon credits and that? So they reckon what it is. So you'll if you go abroad by plane or whatever, you'll have to spend your car. You'll have a certain amount of allocated carbon credits. So what will happen is the plebs will end up having to sell their carbon credits to the rich so that they can go on holiday and do whatever they want.
Well, that's it. You'll have your ration of it, and you can trade. You can give up your rations and just go like, oh well. Even though by the way, this is not true, but they will do this. If I go vegan and if I eat insects, then I will get, that costs like 1 carbon credit, as opposed to if I get beef, which costs 50 carbon credits. Who the hell's calling me at this time of night? It's a Whitney number. I don't recognise it, so I'm not answering it.
Well, there's also there's the other problem is the fires in the batteries, isn't there?
Oh well, we don't talk about that.
Oh, Alphabet. When you said who's ringing me, Alphabet Cat said DOA.
Well, I don't think her number is that area. Put it that way. And she'd probably contact me on Telegram. That's what she gets in touch with me.
We need to keep talking about your chateau in France, and then she'll get back in touch with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I will be visiting it later this year in the Jag.
Yeah.
So
when you buy your carbon credits off a pleb.
Yeah, and there's 4 seats in it, so there will be room if she wants to tag along. She can go and
You'll let her sit in the back.
Or the boot. Well, there's plenty of room to put someone in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, she can sit in the back seat. And,
where were we anyway for that interruption?
Oh yeah, Doom and Gloom. You're not going to be driving in the future. You will have a little scooter which will be limited to 15 miles an hour, and you can go like about 5 miles on a single charge. I mean, why do you want to do a weekly shop?
They quickly made the scooters illegal, didn't they? Did you notice that? Those scooters that people are driving, you're only allowed to ride those scooters if they're owned by a company. Like, you're already getting these 2-tier laws coming in.
Oh, I see. And of course, you won't be able to rent one from a company unless your social credit score's good enough. It's like
Ian's reminded you it's Tuesday, Hobbit.
Good. Yes, it is. Well done, Ian. You get a biscuit.
Well, will we be allowed a bicycle? No, we won't be allowed a bicycle. Like, is this the most crap dystopia you've ever seen? I mean, at least like normally you get some like trade off. Like, you get to fuck Daryl Hannah, who's a
what, Cherry 2000?
No.
Where are
Blade
the
Runner.
mutants and like where are the
Where's my fucking hover car? Where's my hover car? And where's my Daryl Hannah sex bot?
I'd rather sleep with Sean Young than Daryl Hannah. But I thought
knowing this dystopia, you'll end up with I've forgotten his name. Not Rutger Hauer, the other one.
Brian Downey.
Brian something, isn't it? I can't remember his name. Brian something, isn't it? He did that awful supposedly Cockney accent in Tango and Cash, didn't he?
Oh, I don't remember the guy in that film. I don't remember the bad guys. I just remember Tango and Cash, and that's
Tango, Cash.
Zip lining out for the prison.
Yeah, and the problem is I get a lot of that mixed up with Lock Up with Sylvester Stallone in it.
Yeah. But so anyway, it is the.
But we're not even gonna get our what's that film you really like, Demolition Man?
Yeah, Three Seashells. Are we gonna get?
Yeah.
Are we getting that?
Yeah.
Well, we've got all the social justice bullshit of Demolition Man, including the no contact sex wearing the VR goggles.
Oh, I'm just looking at IMDb, and I have to comment on this. Full TV Guide, the best shows coming this year. It's got that. Oh fuck, what's his name out of Star Wars that's coming up? Andor. The Cassian Andor TV series, Rings of Power, and She-Hulk. They're the three.
Disney.
I mean, talk about dystopia. They're the best films. Yeah. They're the best shows coming this year.
Isn't it? It's all Disney content. That is the dystopia, isn't it? Being forced to watch it because there's nothing else. Everything else is dead.
Brian James is the actor I was thinking of, Hobbit.
It's just constant regurgitated Disney shit. Like, can you imagine? That is actually a dystopia. That is actually terrifying.
It's just like we've got all of this shit, but we've got no payoff for it. We don't even get a fucking hover. I want a fucking hover car, and I want my fucking Japanese noodle bar with neon everywhere.
I want neon adverts that are like come to life, fucking Blade Runner style.
Well, Blade Runner future. I just settle for Blade Runner 1 neon everywhere.
Why can't I just have like the Fifth Element future where you get your ration of 5
Mila Jovovich wearing a bandage.
Yeah, but you've got a cigarette dispenser that gives you 6 cigarettes in the day, and then you open up your balcony, and like the guy in his old Chinese blimp is gonna deliver you some ramen noodles, and
Oh, fucking ramen, man. Oh, God, yeah.
What about or Total Recall? We could have our Total Recall.
Yeah.
Where you work on a construction site and you're married to Sharon Stone, and you can even go on fucking holiday. Even if you can't afford the carbon credits to go on holiday, at least you can go on holiday in your head. At least you can imagine it.
It's the same number, and they're calling me.
They probably want to talk to you.
Well, I know, but I don't recognise the number.
Well, they've probably got a new one.
It's the same number. 2 rings. No, nothing on the voicemail. Fuck, that's distracting. Oh, I'll just put it on.
Yeah, but in that film, they could actually go to in Total Recall. They could go to Mars. I mean, we just got like some sort of crap version of RoboCop where you don't actually get RoboCop either.
Well, it's a bit like Judge Dredd. Yeah. Everybody's going to be living in peach trees, aren't they?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, but but Judge Dredd at least had a wasteland. Like, come on, like we don't even have that.
Yeah, but look at like you don't even get the cybernetics or the fucking ABC Warriors Hobbit. Like there's no, these are just like the shittest parts of the dystopia. You don't even get any of the good parts.
Yep. Yeah, well, the thing is, I think that's important to mention with all this stuff is...
I think, to be honest, I think the most accurate, I've said it many times, but I think the most accurate as to the future we're going to have is probably more like Soylent Green.
Oh,
like,
no, man.
Yeah. Not so much, I mean, the eating people, like, I think, aren't they already, like, trying to convince us that eating people's cool? But also, like, the people who are just the poor cunts that are living on the stairs and stuff like that.
Have they actually tried to convince people about eating people yet? No, I don't think they have.
Yeah, they're doing the grown in a lab human meat, aren't they?
Human meat? You mean animal meat? Like
No, human meat.
They're encouraging cannibalism.
Cannibalism.
Actually doing
how do I search for it, Hobbit? Cannibalism is okay. Try is okay. Let's try that. Actually, here you go, Gizmodo. Actually, cannibalism can be good. Sometimes we humans let our dumb values prevent us from taking biological realities seriously. Take pooping, for example. People have decided pooping is gross. I've never read Gizmodo before.
No.
Is it on a par with
Gizmodo?
Like,
is like the same. No, it's worse. It's like on the same level as Kotaku. It's one of those Kotaku websites. You know what Kotaku is. Like absolute fucking bottom tier fucking weeb journalism kind of tier.
Then.
Like, yeah. Well, Kotaku is anyway, but Gizmodo is on that same like level as them. So I think it's the same company, like parent company.
Now, some scientists think that even cannibalism is worth another hard look. Cannibalism naturally occurs in a lot of species of insects, fish, and even mammals. Despite our aversion to it as a so-called civilized species, cannibalism seems to serve a purpose. A team led by UC San Diego researcher Benjamin Van Allen reviewed past research on cannibalism and came to the conclusion that it might help to limit disease spread in some populations. We've been looking at cannibals individually instead of cannibalism's effects on entire species. The study co-author Brett Eldred from Louisiana State University told Gizmodo, "We're not advocating that cannibalism is good, but instead that cannibalism is not automatically detrimental." So cannibalism is morally relative. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
The benefit. Go on then, Hobbit.
Hello.
Hobbit, did you say something?
It was me. It was me.
Right, okay.
I was just thinking like, how are you gonna get someone to eat someone else? How are you gonna get someone to eat another human being?
Just gonna call it Soylent Green and not tell you. Do you reckon they actually? I reckon they actually would call it Soylent Green, and I think it actually would have people's bodies in it, and they'd just do it ironically, and they'd not tell you. The benefit of eating one's own kind is that members of the same species have all the nutrients you need in the right amounts, but they also can carry the exact pathogens that get you sick. Still, diseases don't have perfect transmission rates, and there's no guarantee a cannibal will get sick from eating a sick relative. Fucking hell. Just eat the AIDS patient, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Taking fucking meat though, isn't it? Jesus. Yeah, God damn it.
Just eat the monkeypox sufferer. You'll be right. The team looked at lots of past research on certain diseases in several different species of insects, fish, and frogs. The fall armyworm, for example, can suffer from a specific virus that prevents it from growing larger, making it look like a tasty snack to a healthy caterpillar. But if healthy caterpillars are eating sick ones, it begs the question, will the species succumb to the disease, or will fewer hosts help the population to prevail? I'm not reading much more of this, but yeah, like... They're doing the moral relativism on cannibalism already. Look, when cannibalism is okay and when it's not, the gateway. Nine
gateway
places
to
of
cannibalism.
What
is the gateway to cannibalism? Oh, I'll just eat my toenails or something.
Yeah.
I remember they were doing
the gateway is the magazine or website, whatever it's on.
Don't you remember there was somebody did this as an art project? Like they took their blood and some of their fat with liposuction and made black pudding out of it.
Well, that bloke had his foot amputated and fed it to his mates, didn't he? Do you remember that one?
Oh, fucking hell. This reminds me of those magazines in the 90s, like fucking the guy who like cut his own face off and fed it to his dog.
I mean, God, listen to this. This is a magazine or whatever it is called The Guardian Liberty Voice. 5 reasons for cannibalism, and in the search result, to some tribes in Africa and Latin America, cannibalism is normal, in some cases essential.
Hey, and
the practice is as natural to them as the eating of dogs, pigs, camels, or others. Fucking hell.
Right, like you can say it's natural in the same way that some people can say I'm a lady. It doesn't make it so.
5 circumstances under which cannibalism is acceptable. Is consensual cannibalism wrong? That's from Medium. Is it possible to be a healthy cannibal? Being a cannibal, is it really bad to eat people? I think cannibalism is okay. Like, it's just like... They were already starting on the fucking Soylent Green shit, aren't they?
Well, I think the next thing they'll be saying, well, actually, I don't even want to get into it. But the point is,
they give ideas of it.
Rather than getting lost in the weeds of the doom and gloom. And by the way, Alan Watt did die last year, so rest in peace. Not to be confused with Alan Watts, who was quite a cheerful philosopher. Alan Watt was a very morose, moribund Scottish musician who lived in Canada, and he did a show called Cutting Through the Matrix, and he did a very good series of books about the way things are. But his radio show was he read the Daily Mail and gone, well, that's the way it is. That's the way it's going to be. It's never going to get any better. You see, they've got this all planned. It's set in stone. The Georgia Guidestones. Yeah. It's always going to be that way. I actually donated him money, and I said, look, give your dog a treat. He deserves it putting up with you.
You know?
So...
And then he killed himself. Good job.
Throwing shade at Alan Watt, Hobbit.
I don't know.
It was probably hanging on by a thread until you.
Yeah, pushed him over the edge of it. Fucking, he murdered Alan Watt.
Yes, and then a short 10 years later, he died.
Doesn't matter how long it was, Hobbit. He still did. You know, you still were the.
You may have escaped murder because it's longer than a year and a day. Is that still a law? Like, because if you assault someone or whatever and they die within a year and a day, then it turns into murder. Is that still a law? I know that used to be a law.
As long as it's the same wound, right? Like.
Yeah, obviously. Obviously, it has to result from. It has to come from the original assault.
Yeah, exactly. How can you survive a year and not like that? Wait, that doesn't make. That never happens, right?
I don't know. Especially if you're in a coma for like a year, but they want to get you harvested ASAP now, don't they?
Oh, do they? Fucking hell.
I should think so. Yeah. Well, it's been an hour now. It's been an hour now, and he hasn't woken up. It's like, wait,
Can we eat him yet? Basically.
Yeah.
You know,
Can we split him up? Uno, Prophet, mate. I think Uno's talking about Alan Watt Hobbit.
Yeah, it was. He was Scottish guy who did the conspiracy stuff. Yeah, he was very good.
Well, the Scottish are very dour, aren't they?
Well, you see, he decided that Scotland was a bit too bright and cheerful, so he went to one of the darkest parts of Canada. And
what part of Scotland did he fucking live in?
he had a very Scottish accent, so it was some part of, you know, that Jockland. Now the thing is, it's all well and good to get into it, but
what the fuck?
I actually
Ting Tong Sing Son says this is a completely true story. When I was 14, I had to write an essay on how to solve one of the world's problems. I wrote they should cook the dead Africans and feed it to the living ones. Seriously, that my parents were called in for a meeting with the headmaster. Seriously, that happened.
Yeah, and the thing is, you could have actually, I mean, not that you'd have known it at the time, but you could have just said, well, look, they do it already.
Yeah. Well, you know, if we want to be dead obvious about this thing, the way to stop world hunger is to do something about Africa, isn't it? The Africa question.
Just stop sending
Africa,
them food.
India,
yeah,
and China, like
yeah.
Jeez.
See, look, we'll sell you food, but we're not going to give it to you, and we're not going to sell you food on loans.
Mm. On loans that we forgive, but the Chinese don't.
Well, the loans where we know you're not going to pay it back, and then we just take over your country, but it's not colonialism because you signed a contract this time.
Well, that's what the Chinese do. We don't do that. We just fucking forgive it, don't we?
Yeah, because unlike the Chinese, we've got a heart.
And a soul.
Hmm.
Okay, now.
But so rather than getting lost in the weeds on this, I personally, I've got hope because people know what's coming down the pike, and enough of them, even if they don't know the esoteric stuff, because you know they haven't been studying Alan Watt and Alex Jones for years on end, they know that. They know that, oh, I've just gone into the supermarket and 4 slices of ham now cost nearly £3. What's going on there? That's a bit weird. That's a bit much. That's a bit excessive.
Well, I don't know. That's been a while. For just like, well, if you shop in Waitrose like I did.
Like you.
No, I'm talking about Aldi prices. You know, like a block of butter is now £2, and the petrol's gone down.
Well, Bill Cooper, I haven't read it, but Beyond the Pale Horse, I think I need to read that book. Is it Beyond the Pale Horse or Behold a Pale Horse? Bill Cooper's book.
Not the foggiest.
Oh, right. Bill Cooper is the one. Just look at Bill Cooper, Alex Jones on YouTube, and he just fucking runs him down. Seriously. I think it's Behold a Pale Horse because it's from the Bible alphabet cat. Where's Hobbit gone? Has he disappeared?
Yeah, he's probably getting phoned by cold callers. Whatever.
Yeah. He's hacking the scammers like those videos on thingy. Anyway, what we talking about just to keep this on, just keep this going while hobbits disappear.
The topic was gloom and doom. What are we? So what is this dystopian like?
I think we kind of ran into it.
The
thing I wanted to talk about Mandalay Bay because that's fucking just I want not specifically Mandalay Bay, but all of this shit that gets fucking memory hold, like Mandalay Bay, the Bataclan. I mean, how long ago was the Bataclan now? Where people like
15?
Just still 16? the full story hasn't come out about that because apparently there were like penises cut off and all sorts, weren't there?
Oh, that's just rare. That's the guy with like. He was basically like, eunuch. When he fucking. Oh. Well, yeah, there's also, do you remember the Texas shooting in fucking Las Vegas? Does anyone remember that?
Yeah, that's the one I was Las Vegas.
You know. What else?
Shit, what year is that then? Friday, Thursday? It's 2015, the Bataclan, 7 years ago. I mean, you remember that summer? Wow. It looked like the Muslims were just going to go completely.
What happened to the Muslims? Like they've been
exactly.
Very quiet.
This is what I was building up to. You had the Bataclan. You had 2 or 3 attacks in London. There was that pub, weren't there, where the bloke was stabbing everyone.
As well, Nice.
The Nice attacks, and then that was it. Thump.
The
stopped.
Truck of Peace in Nice.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to get too Claire Core on you guys, but
everyone subscribe to Secular Correct.
yeah. Now, what if? And just hang on. What if?
Hobbit, isn't that Christianity?
Yeah.
Now, what if Claire Core, for example?
Yeah.
This will segue into what you wanted to talk about, Hemi. So
you got to call her Auntie Claire, Hobbit.
Auntie Claire.
Yeah.
What if the Muslim terrorists weren't actually Muslim? I mean, obviously they are, because just look at them. But what if they're...
Well, it's literally the meme, isn't it? Go on, do a terrorism. Isn't that... It's obviously that, because they were like... Oh, yeah, the other one we're forgetting is, the supposedly fake Ariana Grande one, because a lot of people are suspicious about the Ariana Grande.
Oh, you mean the
Manchester?
Manchester, yeah. There's a lot of suspicions around that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Go watch Richard D. Hall if you wanna know more. Would you like to know more?
I'm saying that they're assets. I mean, you could say they're Mossad, they're MI6, or they're whatever the European equivalent.
I don't think the security services work like that. I think they just push on an open door. Personally.
Yeah,
I'm less conspiratorial. I don't think they micromanage this shit. They push at an open door. I mean, like a lot of right wing leaders. I think they push on an open door.
Regardless of how they do it, I mean, we might even argue that the FBI certainly micromanages the stuff. They recruit their agents to do a bunch of violence for them. I mean,
they got done, didn't they? Did they get done or whatever? But that kid definitely put it in his defense, didn't he? His DMs from that fucking FBI agent. Go on, do a terrorism.
Well, there was that kid who did. Was it a shooting in the
Woolwich,
shop?
Lee Rigby. Lee Rigby doesn't get mentioned half as much as Stephen Lawrence, does he?
But I will get back into the thing I was going to segue into. But
hold on, Alphabet Cat. Ole Danagard, does he go on higher side chats quite a lot? He'll answer me in a sec.
I've heard of him in Red Ice Radio, but
I think he goes on. I think he's the guy. The one that I was telling you about earlier. He says there's usually a number plate that they leave there that's obvious that leads you on to the next attack.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Is that
as well.
the guy? Is it? Have you heard much of stuff?
That's the bit which I thought was neat. Right, now they called it black magic, but let's just call it magic, right? So back in caveman days,
as I used to say to, I can't remember whether it was I can't remember whether you used to say it to Brutus or not. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not; they do, and that's what matters.
And Alex Jones has said the same thing as well.
Yeah.
Like, I cringe to say it, but I was atheist at one point, and I watched Dark Secrets Inside Bohemian Grove, and Alex Jones was saying, "Well, look, you might not believe." I think
Nixon had was it Bohemian Grove or was it the Skull and Bones? It's the faggiest goddamn thing I ever saw.
That was a goddamn setup, that Bohemian Grove.
If you let me finish what the point was, I'll answer that. It was Bohemian Grove, by the way, and it was Richard Nixon talking about why he won't attend, and well, you know what happened to him. So yeah, now
who, sorry? Who wouldn't attend?
Richard Nixon wouldn't attend the Bohemian Grove. And he said it's the faggiest goddamn thing he'd ever seen.
Yeah, I fucking love that. That's the best quote ever.
That's it. So Alex Jones says, look, you might not believe in God, but they believe in the devil, and currently they're winning. Yeah. And that's where the whole information war, it's a modern, sexy way of saying it's a spiritual battle. And And this is why I think we can win, because it doesn't matter what tools the devils raid against us, God can turn them against them. And so that's why I've become spiritual. I hate that term because you got
Yeah, it sounds like middle-aged housewife.
Well, you've also got crusty hippies
bullshit,
with a bunch of crystals that will say, "Oh, you should try drinking
women called India."
India.
Yeah. My name's Athena, and let me read your palm. I'm spiritual. It's like,
yeah, then you get in contact with the fucking which alien race is it? Fucking the betas are ridiculous. Fucking.
I mean, I'm convinced that what's his name, the Pope Francis. I mean, they call him Pope Francis, but
he's the black Pope, isn't he?
James Bergoglio. I reckon he's spiritual as well. I just don't think he's a good Christian. And my evidence for that is just, well, look at the stuff he does and saes.
Oh, I'd just like to give Greg Carwood the Higher Side Chats. This isn't even a segue; it's completely unrelated. At the Higher Side Chats, he had this one guy on. He was like Jewish, and he was having a dig at all the Jews. It was fucking hilarious.
Oh, well, like a Bobby Fischer type or a Brother Nathaniel.
Yeah. But Greg Carwood's quite like he doesn't really come down one way or the other. But so like it was quite gentle. It wasn't brutal, but it was still quite funny having a Jew on, just telling you what the Jews get up to.
Yeah. So this is a segue. We're back when we talk about Muslims, and then that seems to have quietened down. And then there was that kid who did the shooting in the shop.
Do you remember all the shootings in America? You had the Pulse nightclub.
Yeah.
Dylan Roof.
I mean, recently this year.
Oh, the Batman guy.
Recently this year, the kid who didn't have like a penny to his name, or was able to afford a whole bunch of weapons, which people, gun autists can go, well, that rifle there costs $7,000, and that rifle there is $8,950 before sales tax. So how can a kid that's like 21 years old, who's not worked, afford 5 figures for weapons? Now, so what's it called? Come on, brain. Segue. What about Mandalay Bay and the Los Angeles shooting, where we still haven't got any evidence of it? No, because there's plenty of
there's been no inquests. Hold on, let's just have a look. Oh, look, Mandalay.
There's plenty of
Bay
footage.
inquest.
I mean, we got footage, of that guy in New Zealand and the one in the copycat in America, where that's the kid who had 2 expensive rifles, where he Tipp-Ex'd names onto the rifle sides.
Oh yeah, the one we shouldn't really talk about. Yeah, I know the one you mean.
Yeah, but that was a copycat this year where he did the same thing.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying he was able to afford a rifle that costs $8,950. Chat might say, "Oh, Hobbit, you actually got that number wrong." And
I've just been googling Mandalay Bay inquest, and it's this story from the Irish Mirror. Irish woman on lockdown in a Las Vegas hotel room has at least 50 dead and over 400 injured as police name Stephen Paddock as gunman. Just like she's moaning about being locked in a hotel.
And that was the weird thing as well. Like his brother,
he had a 1 in 2 fucking hit rate. He killed.
That was impressive, right?
What did he do? so he killed. I think the figures. He killed 60 and injured 413 out of 1,000 shots. Like 1 in 2 fucking hit rate.
Which just like if they're saying it's with bump stocks, from Americans I talk, they call
bump
it
handles. Hobbit. He had a bump handle on his AK-15.
Yeah, which, as we all know, stands for Adolf Hitler 51. I'm told by people that have actually used these things.
Actually, Hobbit, it's assault rifle for 15.
Yeah, that's it. Which stands for because it will fire 51 bullets a second.
Yeah.
Now, a range toy is something that you use. It's not particularly useful. It's just a lot of fun at the range because it makes a lot of noise. And when you put a stock with the bump feature on it, it just allows you to rapid fire your semi-automatic rifle. because you can do that legally, whereas you can't put a little paper clip inside the receiver, because that's highly illegal. Don't get like a piece of sprung steel caught in there.
Just to put this in perspective, from his 32nd floor suites in the Mandalay Bay Hotel. So from the 32nd floor, he had a 1 in 2 hit rate.
Well, the funny thing is, because guess what? It turns out in America that autists like guns, and they can say, well, I happen to know from firing a bump stock that it makes this sound. It's a very rapid fire because it does like anywhere from 850 to 900 rounds a minute. Whereas this sound here, which we can hear at Mandalay Bay, that's a 600 rounds a minute. They'll even go on Audacity and see, do you see there's 10 dots every second, or 10 blips? That means you're firing 10 a second, so that's a fire rate of 600. Well, that's a machine gun. Machine guns fire 600 rounds a minute. He was using machine guns. Because the amount of rounds...
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. He was fully comped.
Oh, yeah. He was... Because, at no point...
There was shrimp. There was shrimp and everything. He was fully comped.
Because at no point did the hotel staff say, that's a lot of ammunition you're carrying up to your room. Do you need a hand with those bags?
Hobbit, Las Vegas casinos, do they have cameras?
No, they don't. They certainly don't have casinos around the casino floor or the hotels. And there's never been a case of somebody saying, I've just been robbed by that prostitute. Can you look on the CCTV to see who she let in? Because they mugged me. So there's no CCTV footage. Las Vegas is one of the most private places in the world. It's second. It's
libertarian. It's a libertarian, completely libertarian place, isn't it? They believe in the privacy of the private individual.
The only other place that you'll see as little surveillance as Las Vegas is the Pentagon in, is it Washington, D.C.? The Pentagon building.
Yeah, the Pentagon. The Pentagon that absolutely got hit by a plane. You're talking about that building.
It definitely was a plane, and we know that because source do trust us.
It's because they don't have cameras either, do they?
No.
I mean, the Pentagon, you wouldn't really want to know who was in there, who was outside, who was hanging around outside the building. You wouldn't want to know any of that if it was the Pentagon, would you?
What I really like this is about the fact that George Bush has never let us never tolerate outrageous conspiracy theories. So what they did with that is was just just to make sure that people's suspicions were kept up for 22 years now. Let's never release any more footage of the plane that definitely hit the Pentagon because we said so. Do trust us.
Well, they don't have it, Hobbit. There's literally, they have one camera on the gate and that's it, because that's all they need.
Now, I of course am saying my practical solution to this is to pray to Jesus and prepare. How do you prepare?
What I want to know is if these things really aren't conspiracy theories, why do they try hard to make them look like conspiracy theories?
Yeah, it is. I mean, do you have any practical advice for future apart from pray? Maybe form a collection of.
Don't bother with any kind of political movement or nationalism because you'll just get overrun. It's a waste of time. I think look after yourself. Get yourself some skills.
Let me correct you there, Hemi. If you want to spend time liaising with policemen and police women, joining a nationalist movement, I'm not going to name any names, but you know which ones I'm on about, is a good way to meet police, and you might even get to see them at their place at work. They might even say, "Oh, could you work with us? Do you fancy doing a terrorism?"
Yeah, they'll poke you with a stick and say, "Do you want to do a terrorism?"
They won't ask that nicely. They'll be basically like, that woman.
Oh, do you know anything, Fraser? You're more you know more about 9/11, don't you? Do you know this thing about no forensic evidence investigation on the rubble from Building to the Twin Towers and Building 7?
Whilst it was still melting, they shipped it away.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
The only bits I've seen, they look cut. They're cut off at an angle, aren't they? The beams.
There's that, and the fact that there's hardly any fucking rubble to take away.
There's two things
210-story building.
with that thing. I mean, one of them, it's like, hang on, guys, that's a crime scene. Let's wait for the molten steel to cool down a bit, and then we can do some forensic evidence. And the second thing is like, yeah, and then once we've done our forensic investigation, maybe we should sort out the remains and try and do a burial. Because a lot of people died in these buildings, and we should do what we can to give them a dignified send-off.
What about the planes? Did they find all the planes? Because generally they'd do an air crash investigation on it, wouldn't they? Where they get every last bit of every plane together and go through it.
I saw it was a photograph recently of a plane that had gone at low speed. You know, when it's taxiing on the runway, it's doing what, 5 miles
the
an hour?
lamppost, yeah.
Yeah, and it just absolutely tore through the wing of this plane.
Yes, I saw that one on Twitter. Yeah.
Now, I happen to know through personal experience, sorry, not personal experience, I happen to observed other lorry drivers as they reverse into lampposts that they're not very durable structures and they're quite easy to dent. Yet plane wings are not as durable as a flat-bedded steel lorry.
Yeah, I mean they've got to be as light. They've got to be as light as possible, haven't they, to achieve?
Yeah.
Lift,
So it turns out it's quite easy for a plane wing to be crushed. Yet somehow, no, it's just the force of 2 planes hitting 2 towers will bring down 3 towers that day.
And make several holes in other ones as well.
Hey, the BBC knew that 3rd tower was coming down.
Oh, I saw that live. I was watching that as that was happening as well. The guy cuts out. He's like, we're just we're having technical difficulties, even though it was fine. It's like, okay.
Now, I would just say, if you want more doom and gloom, go back to the Alan Watt archives, Cutting Through the Matrix. He's done some really good shows. I would recommend the Christmas episodes because that's when he does his music, and then you're just like, oh my god, this guy was a brilliant guitarist. Now, I would recommend for practical advice, you go and find some IRL friends. Now, you may be asking, what sort of IRL friends do I want to do? Now, if you're interested in motorcycling, you could perhaps get motorcycle buddies as friends, couldn't you? Well, we know somebody that's got...
I'm not getting involved in this one.
We know somebody that's got motorcycle buddy friends, and as he says, they're a great support network. They're more right-wing than anybody he's met online. And I've got to go now, guys. So...
And I'm not talking to you anymore because you're all boring and you're going to get arrested. Unlike me carrying meth up my ass.
Because this person, who shall remain nameless, said, Hobbit, you have once or twice said nigger on the internet. And because of that, you're going to be questioned by the police. So I'm just going to go hang out with my meth dealing buddies now. Bye.
Yeah. And that's not a conspiracy theory. That is a real event that happened to real people.
Yes, the conspiracy was, I guess he's left and that was his way of saying bye, guys.
Oh shit! Did you see the thing? Should we go through the?
Alphabet Cat. It's not a gang. They're biker buddies. You just
buddies,
go on
they're
bike
mates.
together. Yeah.
Should we go through the Telegram a bit because we've started throwing a lot more content in there lately. Have you seen the Forrest Gump clip I put in?
Is this a Mandela effect?
No. This is what's his Tom Hanks throwing up a Baphomet sign.
Oh,
Really?
I thought you meant it's like his medal, like the medal he's actually
his medal, and also he throws up a Baphomet sign with his other hand.
Oh, I didn't notice that. By the way, the god of transsexuals is Baphomet because it's a goat demon with tits and a dick.
Yeah.
And it's usually depicted with an erect penis because, Baphomet. Which I always thought was pronounced Baphomet, but apparently you're not supposed to pronounce the T, so it's a French.
So fuck it, I'm pronouncing it Baphomet.
It's Baphomet. Look, I'm not French. I ain't French. But when I'm in this country, I speak words with English things on it. Apparently, Tom Hanks is meant to be very dodgy. How many times has he been to the relaxation island?
Yeah, did you see the Epstein list I put in the other day? Someone's done an Epstein
No,
list.
that doesn't exist. As we know, Ghislaine Maxwell never trafficked minors
Ghislaine
to
Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell, yeah, she trafficked, but to no customers.
Yeah, no customers. We'd like to repeat, no customers. Right, so let me just sort this fucking video out. Open. I can't play the video to you, the audio to you guys. So if you want to have a look.
That's okay. We can have it on the video. I just want to say pandas are fake. That's a meme.
I bet you
They're
never
not real.
this.
So there you go. I don't think that's even playing out to the stream, is it?
I love fucking Boomer Vision.
To give this.
Yeah, it's Boomer Vision. So right, so you can see there
right?
is Baphomet medal.
To give that to Jenny, right?
If it offends the Satanists, then all good.
And then
so he gives slag bag she's just a slag, isn't she? Let's be honest, Jenny is a slag.
It's very strange.
Forrest, I can't keep this.
So he gives her the medal.
Look carefully.
Has she actually been
With
in
his right hand, he's going to put his peace sign up, right?
So you go. He's standing there, peace sign.
But look
so he does the peace sign, obviously. And then with his other hand, he's throwing up the Baphomet gang, the Baphomet gang sign.
Very clear.
He's Baphomet gang. So you see that? Apparently that's Baphomet gang. That sign he's throwing up there.
I mean, that's just something strange that people don't do with their other hand.
That's weird, yeah.
And then right after
it's
that,
fucking weird.
Guess what else it is?
Yeah. It's weird. It's weird. This fucking shit that they throw at you, isn't it?
You see, that's.
There's definitely something weird. He's saying something with that other hand, isn't he? Hobbits put a meme in here when your tinfoil hat turns to a crown of knowledge. There's a UNESCO clip that I might save for the UNESCO episode because we're definitely doing an episode. We're definitely doing
pandas?
Yeah, go on then. I know pandas are fake. Evidence. China never wrote about them ever. Westerners discovered them in 1880. First skin. And 1916 first cub found by a fucking zoologist. Ain't that convenient? Only 26 pandas in zoos around the world. What's the conspiracy? How did they fake them? Paint? No. Genetics? I need answers.
Well, this is alluding to the actual conspiracy theory that pandas aren't a real animal. They are either a genetic experiment or men in suits.
Oh, right. Yeah, Craig Wilson put this one in. This was quite interesting. So you remember we did a time travel episode. In the 1950s, Rudolph Fenns appeared in Times Square, New York. His costume was from the Victorian era. He had sideburns on his face. Well, apparently that did that clinch it or something. Even though he doesn't in the picture of him.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
In the picture I'm in the Telegram, he hasn't got one.
Well, yeah. I don't know. What does time travel like age you or something as you travel through time and you magically have a bones there?
According to eyewitnesses, he appeared out of nowhere and looked quite frightened. A couple of minutes later, he was hit by a passing car. The morgue examined all the belongings, wanting to establish the identity of the deceased. The findings were quite surprising. A business card had the name Rudolph Fenns and his address in New York. A beer token for a nickel. No one had ever heard the name of the bar listed on it. Dollars of a very old specimen. Letter sent to his name and address in 1876. And a bill for the service of a horse. Hobbit, how'd you service a horse? You live in the country.
Like that's something like when you're getting when you need to do artificial insemination for various reasons. You service a horse.
When a mummy horse and a daddy horse love each other very much, is that what you mean, Hobbit?
Then
or
the
you want
rancher
to reenact Mr. Hands, basically.
The rancher puts a condom onto daddy horse and collects the semen into what is essentially an oversized condom. An oversized condom, and then pours the contents thereof into cups, which are then frozen and sold on an auction to the highest bidder.
Yeah. and that is service bill for a service of it. Why do you get charged for a service of a horse? All the fines were in perfect condition. The address listed on the business card was a business.
Not everybody's going to do that for fun. Someone's going to be like, right, I'm a ranch hand. You want me to do artificial insemination and collect the semen? My hours, I'm charging you $60 an hour for this thing.
It was discovered that a man had disappeared back in 1876 and could never been found. So he disappeared in 1876, appeared in 1950s. I mean, that could be just a time slip, couldn't it?
You know, I would like to do a thing on the UNESCO. I don't know where to begin on it. We'll probably do what we usually do, which is just muddle on through it. The other thing is, what's it called? But before we do that, Games Workshop is coming up to 1982 to 2022. That's 40 years.
Yeah. I think we're going to do an episode on it, aren't we?
I was going to ask a guest if he'd like to come on and do it, but he's just being very like, I have a new life now, and not answering all my... Well, this is the thing, actually. All my friends don't answer my calls. Even Hemi, like, he doesn't respond to my texts or calls.
You didn't call me. You texted me, and I did fucking answer you, so stop it.
Oh, yeah, you did, but I'm trying to be, like, dramatic here.
Hobbit, do you like the meme I've just put up? You see
this
one?
Yeah, I
do. Michael Jackson, 18 hits. The Beatles, 27 hits.
That couple in the bottom right corner, that's Sonny and Cher, right?
34 confirmed and still counting. There was one the other day, weren't there? Did we talk about that one?
I got you,
another
babe.
one? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there was another one the other day.
I got you, babe. Da, da, da.
I got you right in the back of the head, babe.
Do you think if like you go into like this life insurance like office and you want to sell your life insurance and you say what's your occupation? You work for the Clintons. Do you think they just look at you and think?
Said,
okay,
I'm not aeroplane.
Instant rejection.
It's baby, like, break a leg.
That tweet I've put in there, the Thracian chariot. That's from a suspended account. That account's been suspended.
Oh, no.
It's weird, isn't it? Like guys doing like seemingly innocuous things like, "Hey, here's some ancient history about stuff."
Yeah, it's all right. I found that I lucky enough I linked to the article as well.
Yeah. Well, what's so special about the Thracian chariot?
It's like it just struck me as weird. Like, why is the chariot laying there with the horses? Like, so the horses just laid down with the chariot, did they?
No, they probably shot the horses or like stabbed the horses or whatever, and fucking
Well,
buried them, right?
Frasier, I'd say. I'm sorry, I keep thinking of that show in Seattle, Frasier.
Yeah.
Now, this to me, the way it's all squashed and stuff, reminds me of the victims of Pompeii. I think there was an explosion, and I think Pompeii was an explosion.
Nukes.
Well, so in 2009, Ignatov and his team also found a brick tomb containing the remains of a man dressed in what appears to be armor near the chariot. So he had his horses killed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a burial, right? It's one of these ancient burial rites, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you need to know. There is a video somebody's put up there of like, if you look at Venus through a telescope, it looks like you're seeing it through water. And I am going to be... Well, I'm not going to be a globe sphere cuck. I am going to be a fluid dynamics cuck here. Why would
PMC operators need to provide protection to the Mosaic Arctic expedition?
Ice giants.
Ice giants.
Jotnar.
Lao Fei.
Next one on. So there's a video here in it.
Oh, here you go. There's a Wikipedia on the Mosaic.
What is it?
The Mosaic.
It's actually a mosaic.
It's the multidisciplinary drifting observatory for the study of Arctic climate. Oh, it's bollocks then. So they're not really doing anything.
Oh, is it a bit like when the Vatican has an observatory and they call it Lucifer?
Yeah.
And Lucifer stands for some bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to figure out what they're doing there, but I don't know. It's not really. It tells you about like where they've been, like how many degrees they're going, but it doesn't really want to tell you what they're up to. The primary goal of the Mosaic project is to understanding. That's how it's written. Is to understanding the coupled climate processes in the Central Arctic, so they can be more accurately integrated into regional and global climate models. The findings will contribute to a more reliable climate more reliable climate projections for the Arctic and globally, to improved weather forecasts and better Arctic sea fog. So I don't know. They're fiddling climate data. Obviously, it sounds like.
That just sounds like a kind of like glossing over the fact that people are like maybe noticing that maybe the Arctic isn't as cold as they say it is in certain spots. You know, maybe it's free of ice, maybe in certain areas.
Oh, that's the Arctic, not the Antarctic.
Yeah, the Arctic, the top. Yeah, north. Yeah.
I was going to say, in addition to this, we are having silly season now. As much as I've said congratulations to the Dutch for having a proper war against their politicians and stuff, and good luck to the Dutch, by the way, can also just remind people the Dutch are scum. And you may be thinking, oh, Hobbit, you're just saying that because you're racist against the Dutch.
Oh, can I just go back to 9/11 for a sec? I saw a missile hitting the Pentagon, not a plane. All of the sensors were turned off that day. One apparently did not turn off, and it shows this object hits the Pentagon, and it did not look like an airplane. At each floor, successive puffs of smoke are seen, squibs, all the way down. Those puffs of smoke are due to controlled demolitions. The collapse of the Twin Towers were caused by a controlled demolition. So have a guess who said that? Major General Albert Stubblebine. I don't know if he's still alive.
Yeah, Major Stubblebine. I've heard him on Alex Jones' show before. Yeah.
Oh, have you? Oh, okay. Then.
Yeah. So can I just say
back to you, Hobbit?
Yeah. So the Dutch are scum, and I need to remind you of this, right? Now, I'm going to copy and paste the image into the thing so you can put onto the.
Who's worse, the Dutch or the Swedish? Because no, it is the Dutch that have child porn in their national library, isn't it?
The problem with you see, this is what I think. You know, this is false information about the 9/11 thing. It's like okay, right, all right, it was controlled demolition, right? But it doesn't explain the holes in the buildings of buildings 1 through 5. Why there were massive holes in the middle of them?
That not be debris caused by the falling towers?
No, because they turned down in on their own footprint. They didn't hit the other side.
Oh, I know, but I mean, I thought there was actual girders and such. Which
it was that when the planes hit or whatever hit, there is that massive explosion bit, isn't there, where everything comes out.
Well, there's that explosion bit, and then later on there's the thing where it starts falling into its own footprint. You know, when that's where they're saying, "Oh, the puffs of smoke, the squibs or whatever," right?
Have you ever heard the story of that guy that said that he fell, that he had nowhere to go, so he just curled up in a corner, and then he was floating for a bit, and then he hit. I think he dropped about 30 stories. It's a while ago I watched the documentary, but he said he was floating down.
Yeah.
So he was on some sort of air cushion.
That's the fireman's testimony, isn't it? Is that they huddled down in the stairwell and
their helmets blew off.
Clear sky. Yeah,
and also their helmets blew off. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like certain things about the controlled demolition thing that just don't add up. Like the cars in the street that were burnt out, and the paper and the rubber that was I think the paper was left untouched and everything else was burnt to as if it had been firebomb. But within I don't know how many blocks it was, 3 or 4 blocks or even more maybe. It just doesn't add up to the controlled demolition theory. I'm sorry, it just seems to me that that's here's the gatekeeper, here go to the controlled demolition bit and then don't go look any further. Don't look at the the massive holes that just appeared. don't look at the fact that there is video evidence of a tower literally like turning into dust. At the very top, you know, the little like antenna bit, the steel beam just literally like blowing away in the wind. You know, it's fucking yeah. There's so many inconsistencies with the narrative. So
it's like, well, I think we did a bit of an episode on 9/11, but the problem with 9/11, it's such a big subject to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like about 5 or 6 like really focused episodes at 2 hours apiece, isn't it?
Yeah, with all different theories, and you know, everyone else claiming there's nanothermite, and then there's, you know, just mini nukes and fucking whatever else. And you've got the, you know, energy weapon theory and
the robot plane theory as well, isn't there?
Robot plane, no planes theory. Yeah, it's just a mess. Like, well, but I think that's intentional, right? That's the water. Yeah, you know.
I don't know, Alphabet Cat. I think you need more than 6 hours to cover 9/11 because there are so many. Like you say, Fraser, there are so many different things. Like, is that Helen? You don't like her, do you, Hobbit? That Helen, what's her face?
Helen? You mean Judy Wood?
Judy Wood. I'm nearly there. Judy Wood. Yeah. I think Hobbit said he didn't like her.
Do you know? Oh, okay.
He's not a fan of Judy Wood.
To date, she's, to me, like, that is the most explanatory theory. Like, I mean, you know, the experiments.
Muted and deafened again.
Experiments by Hutchins.
Because she's the directed energy weapon person.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. Where Did the Towers Go? That's a book. Yeah. So, you know, I've read bits of it. And
but like,
I watched a seminar on it.
It does make you laugh when
convincing.
It does make you laugh when they say things like, "Well, controlled demolition." They'd never be able to get those explosives in there. It's just like I could give you one scenario. You send the guys in to get the explosives, then you have Team B and you tell them they're paedophiles and they need to be taken out. That's literally all you need to do. You tell her or anything, just like you know, these people are spies, blah blah, you know, anything, and just get Team 2 to take them out. Then they're dead and nobody knows about it. It's so easy to compartmentalize this stuff off. It's not even difficult.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's like, oh, too many people would know. Fallacy. Oh, too many people would have to know about it. It's like, no, not really. As you say, like, basically just bump. It's like the opening scene of The Dark Knight with the Joker, isn't it? You know, he's compartmentalized the fucking bank robbery.
Yeah, and he's like, told everybody a different story, hasn't he?
Yeah, like you got to shoot this guy as soon as he's done his job, and then as soon as he's done his job, you got to shoot that guy, and then when he's done that job, you know, hand him the bags, and then he shoots you, and that's it. You know, the end of it. Like, at the end of the day, like, no one really knew the plan. You just got a string of dead bodies, like
bod daddies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, so I don't even know if I'd get into, like, I don't really know enough about 9/11 because, like, you have to be pretty much like a fucking 9/11 scientist. They're like ripperologists. You have to be like a ripperologist for it, don't you? Where you have to know absolutely everything on it.
Fucking ripperologist. Oh, that is the most, like, intellectual wankery I've ever heard.
You're not a fan of ripperologists, then.
Man, no, come on. The fucking guys who go around with fucking tea cozies and shit and fucking, you know, fucking damp rags and shit. Like,
cum rags.
Yeah, just fucking...
I can't believe you never heard the story of Jack the Ripper's cum rag.
No, I haven't. No, that's just... But, you know, whatever, you know, is that just to spice the story up to make it more believable, you know?
Like the chain of custody is so fucking piss poor on it, isn't there?
It's like, yeah, okay.
Where's fucking Hobbit? I need his input because I was going to talk about the one woman that took everybody to the moon.
Oh shit! Yes.
Yeah.
The woman with several long. How many books is that one?
I'll do a quick joke one. Have you seen like Heineken's Satanic?
No.
Let me just I'll put the image up.
Yeah, the woman who took them to the moon 17 books of fucking code. You know.
Right, there you go. There's the proof that Heineken is satanic if you hold it upside down, and back and take the picture backwards.
Of course.
Those two black women single-handedly built the rocket with the help of the book woman.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay.
There's a great one from the Babylon Bee that I put in the Telegram. New study shows an alarming link between being a conspiracy theorist and not having myocarditis.
Was that a Babylon Bee headline?
Yeah. I've held off with these two pictures. Do you want to talk about the one woman that took us to the moon, Hobbit?
No. Before I do that, I just wanted to say about the Dutch. There's a picture I saw on Twitter. It said, thinking about how the Dutch police arrested a bird for taking part in the robbery, put it in the jail cell with bread and water, and when the media reports on it, they put a little black bar over the face to protect its identity. So
did you see the satanic Heineken can?
No, I was.
There you go. I'll put it back up. There's the satanic Heineken. If you hold a can of Heineken upside down and mirror image the image, then you can prove that it's 666.
But isn't this like when they put like any sort of records in reverse, and they go, oh, well, they're telling like to hail Satan and all that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the only thing I'll say about that is like in the court case, they said, well, you can do this with anything. So they took like a wholesome music and they played that in reverse, and that sounded pretty demonic as well.
Yeah.
But the one which I say was like intentional was you remember Obama's slogan was "Yes, we can."
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you play that backwards, it's "Thank you, Satan."
What?
Yes, we can. Yeah, I think I've heard that one before, Hobbit.
It was. Yeah, it's.
Wait, yeah, yes, we can turns into hail Satan.
Yeah.
Thank you, Satan.
Thank you, Satan.
Yeah. Do you want to do the clip?
I'd have to find it first.
Obama, thank you. Let's see if I can find Obama, thank you, Satan. Is there 2008?
I just like to thank the input of the one woman that woman all on her own took mankind to the moon. So she built the rocket. She's standing beside the code she created to program the computer systems on the Apollo 11
spacecraft.
That's right,
the computer system that was less powerful than the Casio fucking calculator. Yeah.
Game Boy.
Right.
Big stack of books, right? Yeah. Here we go. So this is from 8 years ago, this clip.
Hobbit, do you know anything about old coding? I mean, would you literally write it all out like that? What would be the point of writing it all out like that?
I think what they're doing there is they're doing it as like a visual representation. It just...
Well, it does say she's standing beside the codes, but then again, it's called somewhere Umar Buzov, World of History. So it's on Twitter.
Because if you're really poor, yeah, you'd use paper and you'd use punch cards, but NASA could afford magnetic tape. They'd had the programs on magnetic tape.
Yeah. So would she have like beep beep booped it into the computer then?
I just I just think it's a theatrical prop. I think it's as real as when they did that documentary about the hidden diggers.
Hidden diggers. He said diggers.
Yes, Susan.
Yeah. It was that one woman all on her own. So basically, the men who did the programming gave her that to input. I take it is probably a bit closer to the real story.
Is this like when they say that woman found a picture of a black hole and it was all her programming work done, and then when they showed like the coding contributions, what she had coded was a way to change the font size and the font color in the menu.
You're joking! I didn't know this one. I remember that that story, but I didn't remember the thing.
Yeah, so somebody actually like looked in because it was all in GitHub or so it was some sort of like collaborative website, and you can look at the contributions each person did, and like the two guys that did the work, one of them was a Chinese bloke, and he did like 20% of the work, and then there was this white guy who did like the other 79% of it.
Have you seen this interesting looking map that's in the UN? Hobbit.
Oh, is that the one which is like that's the moon, but if you were to make the dark bits of the moon blue?
Well, it looks to be flat Earth surrounded by an ice ring, and there also seems to be a lot more ice on there.
And land, by the look of it, yeah.
Yeah.
So
See,
it's like,
I don't know. I think they're just taking the piss.
well, the thing is,
I don't subscribe to this.
There's definitely something that looks like Australia, and there's something that looks like a distorted Africa.
Yeah.
But where's
But what's going on with, like, you see all that land around it?
Yeah.
And then there's that ice field with something like, what's the black hole in the middle of that fucking ice ring?
Well, we'll never know. Your guess is as good as mine, mate.
Let's see if I can. I can't zoom on. Probably can't zoom into it on there, but
See if you can.
No, you can't make any of it out.
Yeah, it's like there's a load of ice with a black like crack in it, and it's like
Terra de Vista is one.
You assume it's ice. I mean, to me, it just looks like uncharted territory.
So it says on there Terra de Vista. That's about all I can make out on there, and that says what that is.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Well, right, okay, so this map is saying there is land to the west of Africa that isn't South America, because that's on the other side, right? So what is that? Is that meant to be Atlantis then? What's...
Yeah.
Like... Also, I'm guessing that big, huge blob of land right there, in the China city, next to China,
yeah,
that is Mu? Is it? That must be Mu. Because Lumeria would be where Australia is. Australia and India, that's where Lumeria is supposed to be. So that must be Mu.
Go see if that's any better than Swiss cows. There's a couple of videos on YouTube. Hidden Lands, Terra Vista, or right. South from Africa, Terra de Vista. There's a couple of videos on there, but there's literally nobody talking about it on.
Really?
As far as I can tell, yeah.
Wait, is there a video of this?
Well, I can make out that those white bits, they've all got Terra de Vista written on them.
Yeah. Terra meaning Earth, and de Vista meaning location, right?
Is it Spanish or?
Yeah, Vista is in like sight.
No, I can't find anything. Terra de Vista doesn't throw anything up on search results.
Have you ever seen something called Capricorn 1? So how do you spell?
I saw it years and years ago.
How do you spell Terra de Vista? D-I-V-S...
T-E-R-R-A, and then
That's
D-E,
Terra.
and then D-E, and then V-I-S-T-A. Well, you can have a look. Have a go at
Terra Vista Realty. Terra Vista, no.
It definitely says Terra de Vista.
Terra de... Is that not German? No.
Unless it's Terra de Vista. Unless it's one word.
Terra de Vista. It's 3 words, also known as Terra Incognita.
Yeah.
Oh, so undiscovered land, basically.
The mysterious land that kept the world from tipping over. Yeah, so it's Terra de Vista. DE is a word.
Yeah, I can't make a lot of this out because it's like really poor. It's really shit res.
See, it helps having like a Latin expert on the panel now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Latin.
Yeah.
Is it Latin? Okay.
Latin.
Yeah. Well, I know terra incognita, terra firma. Terra is that's why the Mediterranean is like the Middle Sea. It's actually no, it means more than Middle Sea. Medi means what does Mediterranean mean? I can't even spell Mediterranean, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of this around the edge is actually labelled up, but I can't see it. Coatesland? Is it Coatesland? Is some of the stuff that's down by... I can't work out what that is. Just off the coast. What's the big landmass just off the coast of Africa?
Madagascar?
No.
Too big. No, other side. The other side, there's a big landmass to the left-hand side of Africa.
The west, west of Africa, yeah.
Mm.
That's what I was saying. Like, what is that? Like,
yeah, it's a fucking very strange. Why have they got this map on the wall? Is the first question you want to ask about the UN, isn't it?
Well, here's the thing. Well, I mean, the UN, with the whole logo thing as being the azimuthal equidistant map, and they're trying to, if you believe some people, they have to tell you these things, right? But in code, basically.
Oh, that's the other bit I wanted to mention about magic. Now, caveman days, what they do is magic. They draw a deer and a successful hunt, and then the next day they go out and hunt the deer. Now, apparently, in black magic, what they do is they'll put like an event or something they're going to do. Like
someone's cleaned it up a bit. Hold on.
And then so they'll put in a film or something that's going to happen. Like they'll put like the date of 9/11 in The Simpsons and The Matrix and Supertramp's album and various other places. And then they'll say, well, we gave you fair warning, we're going to do it. And if you didn't know, then it's your own fault. And they even took the piss out of that with The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, saying, well, we did post a notice in your local interstellar cluster that we were going to bulldoze Earth to make room for an interstellar bypass. So if you didn't read it, you've only got your own selves to blame.
Oh, it's fucking doing that J5 shit again.
I hate.
There's loads of nasty symbols on there as well. This is fucking weird. Hold on, I'm gonna have to snip this.
Well, here's my this came out obviously since this moon map came out, right? That's supposedly exactly the same like shape as this, right?
Yeah.
And I just get the feeling, they're just taking the piss out of these people.
Because they know people will jump on it and get obsessed with it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Like, so I mean, yeah, okay. If it's that easy, then it should be easy enough to just sail from the west coast of Africa to this landmass, right?
Yeah. So there you go. There's someone's cleaned this up and put it there. There's a load of lands. Liberia is on there. Asgard, Terra de Vista.
Oh, Liberia. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
New
Schwabenland is on there.
Swastika symbols.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll copy this image and I'll paste it in the Discord so you can have a look.
Thanks.
There you go. So you can have a close look at it yourself.
Oh yeah, okay. So I'm looking at the chat now. Yeah, it's.
I've put it in general, so you can have a look at it yourself.
So they're saying they're called the Timbusculan Ice Shelf. That's German.
Yeah.
Oh, so is this like
New Schwabenland?
Are they saying
that's New Schwabenland. They're trying to say that's New Schwabenland.
And so
that's
the
drilled under the ice, their secret, base or whatever they had.
The Atlantic Ocean. Well, this is a German map.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Is that the bit that the Germans have colonized, that the Nazis colonized? Do you think?
Well, here's the thing. The thing that kind of only gives us a little bit of credence is the fact that they did send huge amounts of ships and munitions and war ready kind of like battle cruisers down to the Arctic, and they did get absolutely fucking wrecked, and they had to come back, and it's kind of just like, well, what happened there? Yeah, I mean, Robert Seffer goes on about it a lot, and that stuff. It's kind of like, okay, was that event totally made up but then why bring out this thing now? And I don't know. Yeah, that's the only inconsistency, is the whole Nazi technology thing,
Yeah.
With them, the Antarctic base they supposedly had in New Schwabenland or whatever. Yeah, there was a fleet dispatch from Argentina, I believe it was, around there too.
I mean, could this map be something to do with is it Robert Byrd? Because he tried to fly all this, didn't he?
Admiral Byrd.
Yeah, he said there's a continent. Yeah, he said there's a continent as big as the United States. Now, if you look on that map, the United States is actually tiny. So these things.
Yeah.
New Schwabenland is massive.
There's all these little
Liberia.
Well, look at the size of Africa. Africa, you can fit the whole of the rest of the world in it, can't you? I think.
Yeah, but they you see, it's so small. They need to immigrate over here. It's very small, Africa.
Yeah.
There's no room for the Africans to go back in Africa.
Well, the fact that this is on the UN and there's literally swastikas with red ring around it for Nazi symbolism just says.
Do you think this could possibly not be hanging in the UN?
Well, is there any evidence it is in the UN? What is there someone saying it is? Is there actually a picture of it hanging somewhere? A video of No? Is it just this picture?
Yeah, it's I think you should be suspicious of just out of context pictures.
Well, this is it. This is also the interesting thing. Do you know a lot about Liberia?
What?
No.
Do you know what Liberia is? Liberia is meant to be this famed pirate enclave that was set up.
Libertalia.
Yeah, that's it. The Libertalia place.
It's easy to make it because there's all these names with liberty in them.
Yeah.
So that's not to be confused with Libya, which is not anything to do with liberty, and it existed
Liberia,
in ancient times.
Should we do a bit of a funny one? Tim Paul said if Uncle Ben had a gun, he wouldn't have died. The responsibility to protect himself was always his. Not
Who's Uncle Ben?
Spider-Man. Peter Parker's
Spider-Man?
Uncle Ben. Who got shot by a criminal. Didn't
he? Yeah.
Did you want to do some unexplained mysteries? We've got 5 minutes left. This has been quite a quick show.
That's it by really
flown.
Considering it's been fucking jumping all over the place Segu heaven. This wasn't it?
Well, I wanted to say in summary, don't do nationalisms, and don't join biker buddies to sell meth. That's not the way to do it. Maybe go to church if you believe in church. If not, maybe just pray to Jesus.
Join the church of flatness and repent for the roundness.
Well, I mean, I sort of said it with a sign, pray to Jesus, because I thought that's not going to convert anybody, is it? But look, the fact is,
starting a new cult.
If you've got eyes to see and ears to hear, you will see what's going around the world and go, I think I'm going to need some divine help here, because I don't think I as a one man can survive this without the grace of God. And so ever since I've put my life in the hands of God, it's not been easy, but I've always got through it. So that's got me through.
Do you want to do this one? Who exactly has permission to mine resources on the moon? Nobody.
Go on, then.
It's been 50 years. Nobody, because it doesn't exist. Oh, there we go. That's sorted. It's been 50 years since humans last visited the moon. Citation needed. Even robotic missions have been few and far between, but the Earth's only natural satellite is about to get crowded. At least 6 countries and a flurry of private companies have publicly announced more than 250 missions to the moon to occur within the next decade. Many of these missions include plans for permanent lunar bases and are motivated in large part by ambitions to assess and begin utilising the moon's natural resources. In the short term, resources would be used to support lunar missions, but in the long term, the moon and its resources would be a critical gateway for missions to the broader riches of the solar system. Not quite sure about this. So all of a sudden, like, there's going to be 250 missions to the moon, yet nobody's talking about it.
Oh, it's just, nobody cares about the moon, right?
Yeah, because I think it starts with the Artemis, which is going soon, isn't it? Next week, I think, isn't it?
Of course it is. Absolutely. Yeah. We definitely need to do a NASA like space fuck up video,
I think we need to do another NASA one. Like my favourite NASA story was LOL. We fed all the moon rocks to cockroaches. just like no fucks given. They just fed it to everything, didn't they?
It's like, oh well, we lost the tapes for how to get to the moon. We probably erased.
But you got the rocks, though, right?
We erased over it, and yeah, we fed the rocks to the moon rocks to cockroaches, and there was a couple of like documents about how to build rockets and stuff, but we put them in the shredder, and then we burnt the shredded remains. But we're totally a legitimate science and exploration organization. Yeah.
NASA halts auction of moon dust and cockroaches expected to sell for $400,000. So NASA wants its moon dust and cockroaches back. The space agency has asked Boston-based RR Auction to halt the sale of moon dust collected during the 1969 Apollo 11 mission that has subsequently been fed to cockroaches during an experiment to determine if lunar rock contained any sort of pathogen that posed a threat to terrestrial life. So, in trying to find out if this stuff is deadly, they picked the one species that could survive even nuclear war.
Yeah.
They
could survive the moon rock famine, plague.
Yeah.
Yeah, next you'll be telling me they found a monolith on the moon, and fucking Isaacs is gonna have to like save us from fucking necromorphs, right? That's coming soon.
Just absolutely fucking clownish, and just a clownish organisation, aren't they?
No, they're a legitimate, serious research organisation. It's you that's the clown.
If they're clownish, then what the fuck is JAPSA and fucking the Chinese Space Agency? Fucking hell.
Oh, well,
if they're the amateurs.
Here's a thing, and by the way, DOA, if you're listening to this,
I found it now. They also injected it into mice.
Yeah, just grind up some moon rocks and inject it to mice. LOL.
Yeah. So what do we got here? When the Apollo 11 crew brought back a big stash of moon rocks in 1969, NASA scientists immediately kicked off a series of carefully planned tests to ensure that even tiny amounts of lunar dust wouldn't be bad news for Earth's biosphere. We had to prove we weren't going to contaminate not only human beings, but we weren't going to contaminate fish and birds and animals and plants and you name it, said Charles Berry, who was in charge of medical operations for the Apollo missions. So this is from space.com, which I assume is some sort of NASA fucking thing. NASA chose... Go on then, Hubbard.
I was going to say, I hope Alphabet Cat backs up his statement, because he says, the rocks which turned out to be petrified wood, you mean? I would like to know more about that.
It reminds me more of the Tick comic, when the Tick gets hit by a meteor and he gets it checked out and they go, this is from Utah. That's what it just fucking reminds me of. So, first NASA chose the species it would use. In addition to the mice, the agency and its partners also selected other representative species. Japanese quail to represent birds, a couple of nondescript fish. Nondescript fish?
Nondescript
What
fish.
the fuck is a non... Like, oh, look at this fish. Oh, it obviously couldn't be a breed. Brown shrimp and oysters for shellfish, German cockroaches and houseflies for creepy crawlies and more. So it's not just that then. Then the agency tapped into its precious cash of £49, 22 kilograms of newly delivered lunar material. Scientists ground everything to dust, half of which they baked to sterilise and half of which they left as it was. The prescription varied a little with animal types. Mice and quail got the lunar sample as an injection. Insects had the sample mixed into their food, and aquatic animals had the moon dust added to the water they lived in. NASA watched the menagerie for a month in case anything seemed to suffer from the lunar exposure. The German cockroaches that were fed moon dust, true to the insect's reputation, thrived, despite the exotic diet, and all the animals did well, with one glaring exception. Whether in lunar water or not, many of the oysters died, which a scientist chalked up to having tested animals during their mating season.
Right. So
did they do a follow-up one where they did them off the mating season?
Okay, all right. So Alphabet Cats provided us with a story. I'll post the article in here. I'll do the one about dragons.
Oh, God, you can read that one then.
DOA, if you're listening, by the way, dragons are real. Dinosaurs are just a hoax to cover up for the fact that dinosaurs are real. That dragons are real. Now, moon rock in museum is just petrified wood. The Dutch National Museum said Thursday that one of
those pesky Dutch again.
Yep. The Dutch are featuring a lot in news this year.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Exactly, because the Dutch are scum. The Dutch National Museum said Thursday one of its prized possessions, a rock supposedly brought back from the moon by US astronauts, is just a piece of petrified wood. So there's a photograph of a...
Wait, the moon is made of wood?
There's, well...
I thought it was made of cheese.
The moon's not real. It's just a hallucination. And it says here, with compliments and the ambassador of the United States of America to J. William Middendorf II to commemorate the visit... Middendorf, to commemorate the visit of the Netherlands of the Apollo 11 astronauts Neil Lane Armstrong, Michael Collins, Edwin E. Aldrin Jr. RAI International Exhibition and Congress Center, Amsterdam, October the 9th, 1969. It's not green cheese, but it might as well be. The Dutch National Museum said that, yeah, we said that bit. It's a piece of paper. Rijksmuseum spokeswoman Sandra van Gelder, who oversaw the investigation and proved the piece was a fake, said the museum will keep it anyway as a curiosity. It's a good story, with some questions that are still unanswered, she said. Like, how does the National Archive of the Netherlands include child pornography? We can laugh about it. The museum acquired the rock after death of former Prime Minister Willem Drees in 1988. Drees received it as a private gift on the 9th of October 1969 from then US Ambassador J. William Middendorf II during a visit by the 3 Apollo 11 astronauts, part of their Giant Leap Goodwill tour after the first moon landing. Middendorf, who lives in Rhode Island.
This is something that Jim Mars always used to say. Like, if you were the first man on the moon, you'd be fucking constantly on telly. You'd be crowing about it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Nope. You hide in your cabin in the woods and you basically live like Ted Kaczynski, except you don't go to prison.
Yeah.
Neil Armstrong is like Ted Kaczynski. He doesn't like...
It's the other one that's... Is it Buzz... Who's the one that keeps fucking up all the time?
Buzz Aldrin is the one who's got a public thing.
He's putting his foot in it all of the time, doesn't he?
But the other one, I mean, what's his name? Michael Collins. Nobody, Michael Collins just sticks to himself. Nobody hears from him.
But what about all the deaths? A huge amount of deaths.
Oh, well, we'll get back to that in a bit, mate. But in the meantime, Middendorf, who lives in Rhode Island, told Dutch broadcaster NOS News they gotten it from the US State Department, but couldn't recall the exact details. I do remember that Dries was very interested in a little piece of stone, the NOS quoted Middendorf as saying, but that's not real. I don't know anything about that. He could not immediately. That's how people from Rhode Island sound, by the way. Yeah. He could not immediately be reached for comment Thursday.
You're supposed to sound like Peter from Thingy, aren't you?
The US Embassy in The Hague said it was investigating the matter. The museum has vetted the moon rock with a phone call to NASA, Van Gelder said. She said the space agency told the museum that it was possible the Netherlands had received a rock. NASA gave moon rocks to more than 100 countries in the early 1970s, but those were from later missions. Oh, there's still more. The rock is usually not on display. The museum is primarily known for its paintings and other works of fine art by masters such as Rembrandt or Colour Climax. A jagged fist-sized stone with reddish tints. It was mounted and placed above a plaque that said, I've already read that bit. The plaque does not specify that the rock came from the moon's surface.
How about this one then, Hobbit? Canada warns it will prosecute astronauts for crimes they commit on the moon. I'm only reading the headline, but what crime can you commit on the moon?
Well, the first crime committed in space was by a woman on the International Space Station. I think it was tax fraud.
Oh yeah.
So he said the rock, which the museum at one point insured for more than $500,000, was worth no more than €50, which at the time writing this article was $70. Van Gelder said, one important unanswered question is why Dries was given the stone. He is 83 years old in 1969 and has been out of office for 11 years. On the other hand, he was the country's elder statesman. The Prime Minister had the Netherlands rebuilt after World War II. Middendorf was treasurer of the Middendorf was treasurer of the Republican National Committee from 1965 until 69, when President Richard Nixon dispatched him to the Netherlands.
According to Buzz Aldrin's IMDb, he's currently filming as promoter for the Globe movie, which is in production.
Oh, okay.
So they're obviously quite worried about flat Earth, then, aren't they? If they're making movies about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. What do you mean? They're making a hit piece thing, or making?
I don't know. It's just called the Globe movie. That's all it says about it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I'm trying to find the slip up about him not going to the moon, but I can't find it. Can't find someone talking about it. It's on TikTok, and you can find it on TikTok and YouTube. But I was just notorious conspiracy theorist punched by Buzz Aldrin still insists the Apollo 11 moon landings were fake, and now claims he has undeniable truth. Have you proof? Have you ever heard of conspiracy theorist Bart Sibrel? He spent. No, wait, I see me right here. So, a Tennessee conspiracy theorist who was punched in the face by astronaut Buzz Aldrin is doubling down on his claims the moon landing was fake on the 50th anniversary of the historic Apollo 11 space flight. On July 20th, 1969, astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin made history as they successfully landed on the moon, and Armstrong made man's first step on the moon's surface. But controversial American filmmaker Bart Sibrel says 55 says the moon landing was staged and mankind never made it to the moon. But yeah, he got punched. He got punched by Buzz Aldrin.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Well,
if they didn't go, if they didn't go to the moon, they would have to literally be out of the public eye, wouldn't they? That's why they're so reclusive, right? And
yeah.
Because
here you go. Snopes. Buzz Aldrin admits that Apollo 11 moon landings were fake. Example: is it true Buzz Aldrin admitted the Apollo 11 moon landing was fake? Sounds unlikely. Origins.
In the Bible that it's true.
Origins. In November 2014, the Hustlers website published an article recycling the old conspiracy theory that moon landings were fake events staged on movie sets, claiming Apollo 11 astronaut Buzz Aldrin recently admitted to such. It is being reported that the Apollo 11 missions, which landed men for the first time on the moon, was fake. One of the astronauts on the Apollo 11 mission, Edwin Buzz Aldrin, confirmed that the Apollo 11 missions were fake and that the videos of the mission are simply showing a setup that was created to simulate how the moon and space would look. Apollo 11 was not real. None of it was, Buzz Aldrin said in a video recording, confessing to the Apollo 11 hoax. I'm ashamed of supremacy, which was known as the space race. We were afraid the Soviets would beat us to the moon, so we decided to fake the moon landing of Apollo 11 to say we were greater than the Soviets, concluded Buzz. So shortly thereafter, links and excerpts, blah, blah, blah. And then Snopes don't say how it's bollocks. So shortly thereafter, links and excerpts referencing this article were being circulated via social media, with many of those who encountered the item mistaking it for a genuine news report. However, that article was just a spoof from Hustlers, a website that offers users the ability to create your own news prank and trick your friends by sharing it. And has a history of publishing fabricated news stories, such as one about pop star Justin Bieber's admitting to being bisexual, and one about the 2014 Super Bowl being rigged. The Hustlers site also carries a disclaimer on its pages noting Hustlers.com is a combination of real shocking news and satire news to keep its visitors in a state of disbelief.
Right, okay. Not the most reliable website then.
No, I think that's what they're saying. It's an unreliable note.
Mm.
But what? They're not saying anything because they don't go, yeah, this is proof that it's bollocks.
The article about
kind
dragons.
Of by saying it's satire, so it's.
Yeah. Go on then, Hobbit.
The article about dragons is much like a lot of journalism. It's a case of, oh shit, I need to write an article. I know, I'll do a thing about dragons. It says absolutely fuck all. But at the same time, it takes up an entire web page saying absolutely fuck all.
Yeah.
Useless information.
For all those Thursday fans, I'm going to take this down now, and then I'm going to re-put it up on re-premiere it on Thursday.
Nice.
So
See you on Thursday.
See you on Thursday. Ooh, it's Thursday. Ooh. I'm telling you, it's Thursday from Tuesday. Ooh,
yeah.
Time travel.
We'll see you in the future of Thursday. Ooh.
Welcome to the world of tomorrow. Right, night all. We're done. Stay spooky, etc., etc. Hobbit.
We off the air?
Not yet.
Just wait.